can almost offer forgiveness before the person even asks to be forgiven. Now you're changing the truth behind forgiveness. Why must you hear, I am sorry, before you say you are forgiven? Shouldn't the act alone already be forgiven before the word? Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to Journey Through the Veil. And now we're in part 2 of Beyond Apology. And this one we're calling Forgiving Without Returning to Harm. So as we continue answering the questions that Natalie asked, and we'll dive further in. And here, forgiveness doesn't mean returning to what broke you. It actually means releasing the hold that it still has on your heart. So let's tune in and listen to the answer to the question as we continue. There is compassion that lies in the depths of all this. There's the love for humanity.
But what about those that have forgiven and yet the story or the pain, the suffering still lingers within them? How does that get resolved? I know that using your book helped me in a time where things were really rough between grief and forgiveness. But for those that want to know how to do that and don't have access to your book yet, what do they do?
A big question that answers all forgiving questions. Have you forgiven yourself? You don't even need to point to an event. Have you forgiven yourself for being human? Knowing the potential to be needed for forgiveness is there. If we walk in forgiveness, in love, that every event is automatically forgiven, and not as a free pass, but as an acceptance for love of humanity, for love of ourselves within this space. We start by forgiving ourselves without expectation, without desire, without ego to inflate reasons for existing. Why is it even necessary to forgive that we exist? To ask for forgiveness that we exist? It seems like it comes down to this. We exist. We're here. We are flawed people. And of course, it's important to say the words, you are forgiven, so the other person receives that and accepts it or takes it. But this is an exchange that those words are the end. Just like energy passes much faster than words, much faster than thought. Think of it like a plane breaking the sound barrier. The plane zips across, and then you hear the crack. The crack is your words. The zipping across is the action, the emotion behind it already. So it's already known that forgiveness will happen. And it's not to say that we forgive and we accept what has been done to us. We can't accept what has been done to us and say, oh, you can do it all the time, no problem. And you just keep on doing it and I'll just keep forgiving you, as if you're downplaying this whole thing. No, that's not it. We cannot downplay events that hurt one another. That is the human experience.
Just now, what you said about not downplaying, that's basically saying you don't have to be a doormat to keep receiving pain and suffering.
No, of course not.
But so that's what you meant by that, right?
Right. So, the words exchanged is dealing with the ego level, the emotional level, the mental level. This satisfies our level of understanding and our desires and our needs, because this is where we're at right now. But the idea is to go a little bit beyond that and to push that envelope just a little bit. Not being a doormat, standing our ground, but knowing that in our strength, we do show the vulnerability of accepting the weaknesses of others and the weaknesses of ourselves.
So, those that keep recycling this pain, this suffering, even though the other individual may be long gone out of their life, how do they heal from that? How do they heal or help themselves let go in order to forgive the point where now the person is no longer in their lives? They're no longer receiving any kind of pain and suffering from them, but by replaying it over and over in their head, they're in a repetitive story. It's like Groundhog Day repeating itself over and over again. You never get out of that cycle.
I lost my mother before any forgiveness was expressed or experienced. I lost her at 20. It took me well into my 30s before I came to that acceptance. How do you accept forgiveness for somebody who's done so much and then leaves the earth? And now you're sitting here, and the only person you can receive the forgiveness from is your own mother, but she's not there anymore. So what did I do? I sought my forgiveness in others. And I realized the events that took place that required forgiveness on her part. There were other people and other similarities and other events that were very similar. There's an expression sometimes, the parents live vicariously through others, or vicariously through their children. So the experiences of the children, it's as if the people themselves are experiencing. The parent's experience is lived through the children.
Yes.
So who says it has to always be this, high-end experiences? Why can't that be through forgiveness as well? And for me, it was. Being able to learn forgiveness towards others in similar and even worse scenarios than I received from my mother allowed me to understand human nature, being able to forgive my mother. It took me a while, but in the end, and that's what happened, and I forgave her. And because we know that when someone dies, it's really not the end. There is still interactions, and there's still relationship with the person who's not there anymore. So even though she physically wasn't here, the expressions, the experiences were still very real. And that allowed me to forgive her. And in the end, I felt that she was offering the forgiveness even beyond the grave.
So it washes away those negative memories, and then it leaves you only with the positive memories?
So next week, we'll answer these questions and conclude part 3, Beyond Apology. This is Saul Aronovitch, and you're listening to Journey Through the Veil.